believe what I just saw?
111 wins, a .721 winning percentage. The 1954 Cleveland Indians shattered the American League record for victories in a single season, a record that would stand untouched for 44 years. While New York Yankees dominated MLB headlines and baseball on the radio broadcasts nationwide celebrated the Bronx Bombers, it was actually Cleveland that reached heights no team of the 1950s could match. And though the New York Giants would ultimately spoil their championship dreams, the regular season dominance of the 54 Indians deserves recognition as the single greatest team the decade produced. Today we're posing a question that might shock Major League purists. Was the Yankees dynasty of the 1950s actually the best team of the decade? While countless hours of baseball on the radio were dedicated to their exploits, there's compelling evidence that the greatest single-season team from that era was actually the 1954 Cleveland Indians. They existed in an era when the New York Giants still called the Polo Grounds home before the franchise moved west to San Francisco. It was a time when baseball's landscape looked dramatically different than today, yet featured a level of excellence that modern fans can still appreciate. The 54 Indians represent the pinnacle of that excellence, a team whose achievements demand recognition even nearly 70 years later. When we talk about baseball in the 1950s, the conversation inevitably turns to the Yankees, and understandably so. They won 6 World Series titles that decade under Casey Stengel. Their lineups featured icons like Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, and Whitey Ford. Their championship pedigree casts an enormous shadow over every other team from that era. This Yankee-centric narrative has persisted for decades. Baseball historians point to their incredible consistency, finishing first or second in the American League every year from 1950 to 1958. Their 1952 squad won 95 games. Their 1953 team won 99. The 1954 Yankees won 103 games, a tremendous achievement overshadowed only by Cleveland winning 8 more. But baseball greatness isn't measured by championships alone. The 1954 Indians represented something special, a perfect storm of pitching dominance, offensive firepower, and historic consistency that even the mighty Yankees never matched in a single season. Yet history has somewhat forgotten them, partly because they fell short in the World Series, and partly because they existed during the Yankees dynasty. Consider this: while the Yankees' 6 championships in the decade speak to sustained excellence, no single Yankees team reached the regular season heights of the 54 Indians. The Yankees were a great franchise, but the Indians were the greatest team. And today, we're exploring exactly what made them so exceptional. From their record-breaking win total to their historically dominant pitching staff to their balanced offensive attack that overwhelmed opponents from April through September. Let's start with that pitching staff, arguably the greatest rotation ever assembled. The Indians featured not 1, not 2, but 3 future Hall of Fame starters in early Wynn, Bob Lemon, and the legendary Bob Feller. Add Mike Garcia, who led the American League with a .264 ERA, and you have a quartet of arms that terrorized opposing batters. Early Wynn, the workhorse of the staff, went 23-11 with a .273 ERA while pitching 271 innings. Bob Lemon matched him with a 23-7 record and .272 ERA. Mike Garcia, nicknamed the Big Bear, was nearly unhittable at times, posting a league-leading .264 ERA. And while Bob Feller was in the twilight of his career, he still contributed 13 wins and provided veteran leadership. But the pitching excellence didn't stop with the starting rotation. The bullpen was equally formidable, led by Don Mossi and Ray Narleski. Mossi posted a microscopic .194 ERA in 40 appearances, while Narleski contributed a .222 ERA. As a unit, the 1954 Indians pitching staff allowed just 504 runs, 60 fewer than the Yankees. As a team, Cleveland posted an incredible .278 ERA in an era when offense reigned supreme. They led the American League in shutouts and 1 run allowed games combined. This pitching dominance is even more impressive considering the era. The 1950s were generally offensive-minded years in baseball. Sluggers like Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, and Willie Mays were in their prime. Yet the Indians' pitchers neutralized even the most fearsome lineups, turning games into one-sided affairs where opponents struggled to even reach base, let alone score. Offensively, Avila hit .341 to win the batting title. He also added 189 hits and 15 home runs. Exceptional power for a second baseman in that era. Larry Doby crushed 32 home runs while playing Gold Glove caliber center field, continuing to build on the legacy he started when he broke the American League color barrier in 1947 just 11 weeks after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in the National League. Al Rosen, coming off his near Triple Crown season in 1953, remained a feared power hitter, adding 24 home runs and 102 RBIs. Vic Wertz, who would later become famous for hitting the ball Willie Mays caught over his shoulder, contributed with 14 home runs, and veteran outfielder Dave Philly added clutch hitting throughout the season. As a team, the Indians led the American League with 156 home runs while maintaining exceptional plate discipline with the fewest strikeouts in the league. They weren't just powerful, they were smart, selective hitters who rarely gave away at bats. This combination of power and discipline made them remarkably consistent, allowing them to wear down opposing pitchers and capitalize on mistakes. Defensively, the 1954 Indians were ahead of their time. Third baseman Al Rosen and shortstop George Strickland formed a solid left side of the infield. Bobby Avila was always dependable at second base, and the outfield, patrolled by Larry Doby in center, was particularly outstanding. The team's .979 fielding percentage might not sound impressive by today's standards, but in the 1950s, it represented excellent defensive efficiency. Manager Al Lopez deserves substantial credit for orchestrating this historic season. After taking over in 1951, Lopez built a culture that emphasized fundamentals and accountability. His calm, steady leadership provided the perfect counterbalance to the pressure of chasing the pennant. Lopez wasn't afraid to challenge the Yankees' dominance, famously saying, "I never managed against Casey Stengel, I managed against the Yankees." 54 Indians were known for their winning streaks, including an 11-game streak from May 13th to May 23rd, establishing themselves as the team to beat. And unlike many dominant teams who coast late in the season, the Indians finished strong, going 16-6 in September to break the American League wins record. The defining moment for these Cleveland Indians came on September 25th, 1954. On that autumn afternoon at Municipal Stadium, early Wynn took the mound against the Detroit Tigers. With over 57,000 fans watching, Wynn pitched masterfully as Cleveland secured their 111th victory, officially breaking the American League record for wins in a season previously held by, you guessed it, the 1927 Yankees of Murderers Row. That victory encapsulated everything special about this team. Wynn pitched a complete game, allowing just 4 hits while striking out 4. The Indians recorded 11 hits, 9 of which were for extra bases as they cruised to an 11-1 victory. The defense played flawlessly, turning 3 double plays to snuff out potential Tigers rallies. The Indians had officially achieved something no Yankees team of the decade could claim. They had surpassed the standard set by Ruth and Gehrig's legendary squad. The significance of that moment cannot be overstated. Cleveland, a city often overshadowed by New York in the sporting world, had produced a baseball team that statistically outperformed the most famous Yankees team of all time. The 1927 Yankees of Ruth and Gehrig had won 110 games with a .714 winning percentage. The 1954 Indians won 111 with a .721 winning percentage. It was David toppling Goliath, not just on the field, but in the record books. The Indians would finish the season with a record of 111-43. Their .721 winning percentage ranks as the highest in American League history since the adoption of the 154-game schedule and the 4th highest in MLB history overall. They won the pennant by 8 games over the 103-win Yankees, the largest gap between first and second place in the American League during the entire decade. Yes, they would go on to be swept by the New York Giants in the World Series, a stunning upset that featured Willie Mays' famous over-the-shoulder catch off Vic Wertz in Game 1. But that postseason disappointment doesn't diminish their regular season brilliance. Baseball history is filled with dominant teams facing October disappointment. The 116-win 2001 Mariners, the 109-win 1969 Orioles, and others who discovered that playoffs represent baseball's great equalizer. Even in the best-of-7 format, postseason baseball has always been prone to unexpected outcomes where small sample sizes and momentum shifts can derail even historically dominant teams like the 54 Indians. What should be remembered is that no Yankees team of the 1950s, not the 1950 team that swept the Phillies, not the 1953 team that won 99 games, not the 1956 team with Mickey Mantle's Triple Crown season, none of them reached the heights the 1954 Indians achieved in terms of regular season excellence. The 1954 Cleveland Indians represent baseball greatness at its purest. Historic regular season dominance, statistical excellence, and Hall of Fame talent across the roster. Their single-season peak stands above any individual Yankees team from the decade, making them the true greatest team of the 1950s. Consider the evidence. They won more games than any American League team in history at that point, setting a standard that would remain untouched for over 4 decades. Their pitching staff was historically dominant, posting an impressive .278 team ERA in an era when offensive numbers were soaring. Their balanced lineup featured American League MVP and batting champion Bobby Avila with his .341 batting average, while historical figure Larry Doby provided 32 home runs and Al Rosen with 24 provided the offensive power. Most impressively, they shattered the American League wins record previously held by the 1927 Yankees, a team universally regarded as one of the greatest ever assembled. Their 111-43 record gave them an 8-game cushion over the 103-win Yankees, the largest gap between first and second place in the American League all decade. While the Yankees' decade-long dynasty deserves immense respect, the 1954 Indians achieved something remarkable. They reached a ceiling no Yankees team could match. The Yankees won more championships through consistent excellence year after year, but the Indians achieved the highest single-season peak of the decade. Baseball historians often overlook teams that didn't win the World Series, focusing instead on champions. But this approach misses the special nature of teams like the '54 Indians. Their regular season dominance represents a level of excellence that deserves recognition regardless of postseason results. 7 decades later, the 1954 Cleveland Indians still stand as a testament to what's possible when pitching dominance, offensive firepower, defensive excellence, and masterful management come together in perfect harmony. They were the greatest team of the 1950s, a bold claim, but one supported by the statistical record, contemporary accounts, and the test of time. Do you agree that the 1954 Indians deserve recognition as the decade's greatest team? Or are you still riding with the Yankees dynasty? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other videos exploring baseball's forgotten dynasties and underappreciated legends. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1954 Cleveland Indians, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content challenging conventional baseball wisdom. Thanks for watching.